Alright, hey guys! So today we're doing Peridot, and we're going to start off by painting our entire face, ears, and inside our nose green. I accidentally used light green when I intended to use lime. So right here I'm just going to quickly go back over that with the right color. I use the Mehron Paradise paints, and they're water-based, so I can just paint them on like a paintbrush. I don't need to use a sponge like you do with oil. Next, we're going to do the eyebrows, and this one here is with Amazon green, which I ended up not really liking a whole lot. It just didn't quite look right, but this one I ended up using the dark green, and that one looked a lot better to me, so I ended up doing both brows with that. And because Peridot is pretty grumpy all the time, I wanted to give her more of like an arch to her brows to kind of give her a little more menacing look. But right here's what the lime green looks like had I done my whole face with that. And I think that's more how Peridot skin should be. But just because I did that little boo-boo in the beginning, I went back over it with the light green. Next, you're going to prime your eyes. I use the Urban Decay Anti-Aging Primer Potion. And by doing this, this will make sure that the shadows last a long time. And they're not going to like smudge around throughout the day. It also helps it blend out a lot easier. I'm also going to line the bottom of my eyes because when I see Peridot, the bottom of her eyes usually seem to be more flat, but that could just be because she's grumpy, and then the top of her eyes are more rounded. So in order to give my eyes that type of appearance, I'm going to go ahead and start using my Shaney Cosmetics Masterpiece Set with the green-blue palette. And I'm going to use this light green here as the base. And I'm going to apply that to my entire eyelid, and that'll help me blend out the other colors on top of that because the face paint does kind of grab onto the shadows. And I'm going to try to give my eyes the appearance of being larger, and that'll help round out the rest of my eye. So I'm going to go in with this lime green here on the very edge of my eye, and that's going to give extra shadows to create illusions of a different shape for my eyes. And here you can see me kind of packing it on the very edge there, where my crease is, and that's going to make my eyes look larger than they are. Here I'm going in with like a dark green, and this one here I'm going to use as a highlight. It's more of a yellowy, almost lime green. It is a lot more metallic, so it's going to have a lot more of a shine. I'm also going to apply that into the inner corner of my eyes to kind of brighten that out. Now I'm going to go in with my fluffy eyeshadow brush and blend all that out, give it a softer look. Now we're going to hop in with a liquid eyeliner. I'm using a Sephora brand one. You're going to line up the tip of your outer eye to the tip of your eyebrow, and that'll help make it symmetrical on both sides. And then you're going to drag in that point to about the middle of your eyelid. From there, you can just go ahead and fill in the little gap, and then drag from the inner corner of your eye as close to that lash line as you can, and meet it up with that line in the middle of your eye. After that, you can check in the mirror, make sure everything's looking symmetrical and even. Here I'm going to give it a little more of a taller curve to help accentuate the shape of my eye. Because like I said earlier, I noticed that Peridot's eyes are more round at the top. So I'm actually going to make that thicker on the outside. And by doing that, you could do that by just kind of making more of a curve over the top of your eyelid. I'm going to go in there with a like a much darker green. And you can see here how I'm playing with the shadows of my eyes, and that's giving me a more rounded eye look. And then with this, you will need a blending brush. It helps so much. And it softens that a lot, so you don't look like you just went and drew a line on, even though it's what you pretty much did, but you don't want it to look that way. And because Peridot is so grumpy, I'm giving her little, like, angry or stress marks, I guess, in the inner corners of my eye. When you do that for yourself, just follow your natural little creases there. And I'm, again, using that same dark green I had just used on the upper eyelid. Then here I'm going to accentuate, like, my anger furrow lines on my brow. And I'm going to go back over that with that really light green to kind of blend that out with my fluffy blending brush. And sometimes some of these things will come out a lot darker than you mean it to. So you can just keep going over it with the lighter color. That'll lighten it up, and then blend it out a lot with that fluffy blending brush. I don't have a green lipstick, so I just use that same green face paint. And I'm trying to give myself more of a frown because I don't think I've ever seen Peridot smile. And then I'm adding a highlight to my nose because her nose isn't straight like mine, so I wanted like the tip of my nose to kind of pop out a little more. And here I don't have a gem, so for the sake of making the look more correct, I'm just going to do one with eyeshadow, just because I don't want to have to make a gem for every gem that I use, or I mean every gem that I face paint for. But if you are going to actually go out and do a full cosplay, make a gem, don't just draw it on. At the end of the day, it's probably not going to look the same as when you did it in the morning. And it'll look just so much better. Also about wigs, because in all my videos, I get that comment, Jesper has white hair. Why don't you have a wig for this? And stuff like that. But it's because I'm not rich. I don't have the money to spend like $40 on a wig for every single character of Steven Universe that I'm going to be doing. This is just something I just kind of picked up and decided to do because I thought it was fun. And I was really inspired by another YouTuber, Lex. Her channel's called Made You Look. She also has a second channel, Made You Look Twice. I'll put a link down below to her channels so you can check her out. Right now we're going to add some highlights to the top of our cheeks. We're using that really light color we use for the base of our eyelids. And then now we're going to add some contouring. We're using that lime green. And we're just going to put that under our cheekbones and around the edges of our face to give us more dimension and pop. And you're just really going to have to follow your natural face shape. I'm also going to put some in my ears just to kind of blend that out. Put it around your temples too, into your forehead. Anywhere that's kind of like shading if you were drawing. Here I'm going in with that dark green that I've been using periodically throughout the video. And use a blush brush or whatever for this part. Or if you have a contour brush, you can use that too. I'm also going to contour on my neck as well. Now we're finally going to do the eyelashes. I didn't want to do it before because I didn't want a bunch of eyeshadow falling into the mascara. I'm using Urban Decay Perversion. I got it for free because I had so many points at Sephora. But yeah, here we go. And this is the final look. I hope that this helped you guys, and if you have any questions, just leave a comment. And I hope to see you guys soon.